Today we are going to discuss on the some aspects of what is known as data management. So before we start, I would like to let you see, ma'am, this is visible. There's
Yes, sir.
Excel sheet.
Very clearly. Data management for this Excel is very clearly visible, sir. It's perfectly visible. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I would like you to see this Excel sheet. This is the kind of sheet which we actually get in our practices. So it is a mixture of real and hypothetical data set. Let's assume this data set is from a tertiary care teaching hospital, and it is the routine monitoring data for the fungal culture and KOH steering, and the data which we receive from the various several wards. So you can see how it looks like. Just have a feel of this. So every column here you can see is consist of a variable: serial number, lab number, name, age, sex, address, occupation, hospital ID, type of patient, phone number, sample, site of sample, referral doctor, clinical detail, KOH report, and so on. Okay. So once we process our data for the analysis, first and foremost thing is it needs to be anonymized. So now you can see I have hidden the name of the personal identifiers. Any personal identifier should be removed from the data, or they should be hidden, or they should be coded. Okay. After that, let's have a quick look on data. So what we can do at this moment, we will apply a filter on this. For this, we will go to the home, and from home tab to filter tab. So by this process, we are able to apply filter. This will give us a feel of data, how our data will look like. So suppose now I am clicking on lab number. So lab number is looking like this, alphanumeric. I am clicking on sex. So now I have a quick idea that the rows consist of F, M values coded in terms of F, M, or there are certain values which are blank. I can also see those blank value by simply deselect the select all and click on the blanks. So now you can see I know there are 4 values which are blank, and there is no mention of the gender here. Okay. Likewise, if we move, we can see, so in the ward data, we see there is something known as dash here. So this is a discrepancy or anomaly in the data, and the data, the wards are coded like burn and plastic surgery, CFM, CTVS, dermato. I want to draw the attention that dermatology is coded in 2 ways: DERMATO dot and DERMATOLOGY. There is an implication of this type of coding, because at the time of analysis, when you process your data for the analysis, the data will treat dermato dot and dermatology as the separate factor, and the result might be anonymous. Likewise, we can see ophthalmology is coded by 3 ways: ophthalmology, ophthalmology. So here, when the data will be processed for the analysis, this will treat ophthalmology by 3 ways. So we will see how the discrepancy is resolved. I just want you to have a look of the data, how it looks like. Okay. The KOH report, you can see there is a lot of text in the cell. So if you move down the line, you can see budding cell along with the pseudo-hyphae. So one of the fundamental principles which I would like to emphasize at this point of time, as far as possible, just refrain yourself to write any textual value in the cell. Just try to code them into the numeric value. If it is not possible to code them into numeric value and there is a compulsion to write text material, then try to write the text material in the standardized form. Now here you can see the lot of text is there. Like here, this entry, you can see that is this entry, this will cause an erratic result when we want to analyze this data. Okay, so now I am stopping sharing this Excel. Now we will see how we can do the fundamental data cleaning and fundamental exploratory data analysis. So I would share another screen with you. Just a moment. Okay, if this screen is visible?
No, sir, not now. Right now, it's not visible.
I will do. Whether now?
Visible, sir. Now visible, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, so the purpose of showing the Excel was just to have the feel of the data, and it is very much important to understand the context by which the data is collected. Unless and until we understand the context and what actually we want to do with the data set, then our analysis might be moving into the different direction, and at the end that might not be make any sense. So it is of fundamental importance. It is very much imperative that before you process the data for the analysis, you should be very clear what is the context of collecting the data, number one, and number two, what you actually intend to do with the data set. Okay. So what I have done.
Sir, your Excel is not shared, sir.
Okay, ma'am, just a moment. It is shared now?
It is shared, sir. The presentation is shared now.
Okay, so now you can see the initial look at the data frame, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very clearly.
Okay, so what I have done, or what any data analytics will done, he will transfer your Excel or your initial CSV file into a software interface. This software could be anything. It could be Stata, it could be SPSS, it could be GraphPad. I have transferred the same data which you have just seen on the Excel to what is known as R. R is nothing but a statistical programming language. And before we begin, let us make it very clear the purpose of this, of what we are going to discuss in the coming slides is not to tell you about how R works, but just to have a feel that what is happening inside. So I have intentionally left there, left some codes there, and the purpose of those code is just let you know what is happening there and how actually cleaning process take place. So now we have the idea of our data. So as soon as we transfer our data to any software environment, we can run some quick analysis, like we can see the name of our we can see the name of our columns. So here we can see the name of our column, and this is something known as string. This sr.no. This string is something which is under the inverted commas. Once we understand what the string is, it is very important to understand there are something known as string inconsistency. We are going to discuss it later, but what is string inconsistency? It is any discrepancy in the capitalization, capital letter or small letters, any misspell word, any punctuations problem, any misplace of the alphanumeric place in the name of the column. So all these problem may leads to an erroneous or faulty data analysis, which or error message during the process of analysis. So let's have a quick look of the data frame, what we are going to discuss at this moment. So I have intentionally added some hypothetical column in the data set, like steroid was given in the treatment, the nature of treatment, antifungal treatment, whether it was only topical agents were given or systemic agents were given, whether diabetes, those patients who were presented with the fungal illness, what was the status of diabetes, and I was hypothetically created a SSS, stand for symptom severity score. This is a scale variable where the minimum value can be 1 and maximum value can be 10. Okay, so now we move to the second part. What is the structure of our data set? So now we can see every column is categorized or stored as character. Character is something which denotes the characteristics of the observations. So whenever you store your data set into any software, every variable is either categorized as character, or if it is a number, then it will be categorized as numerical, or if there are repeated observations like anemia label mild, moderate, severe. So there are the repeated observation in terms of mild, moderate, severe, it will be categorized as factor. Or if there are numerical values which are having the non-decimal values, then it will be categorized as integer. You need not to remember all these things, just you need to understand that your data is treated in the differential manner by each and every software. So your data by default, you can see our data is now categorized, every variable is categorized as character, apart from this symptom severity scale, which is categorized as numeric. Okay, fine. This is again another way to see the basic summary of your data, as the only numeric variable which is recognized by software is SSS, is symptom severity score. So it will give you a 5-point summary of SSS. Any numerical variable can be summarized in 5 points. What are the 5 points? Minimum value, first quartile value, median means central value, then third quartile means 75 centile value, and maximum values. So this is the 5-point summary. Apart from this 5-point summary, there is something known as missing values. So every software treats missing value by its own way, by its own hypothetication. For example, are treated by the method, so means of NA. NA stands for not applicable. So there are 28 values of the SSS which are missing in our data set. So now we know, now we understand how our data set looks like. This is the time for data cleaning. So before we start for data cleaning, we should be pretty much clear in our mind what we need to look into the data. So first we need to understand the context. Now we understand the context from where the data was derived. What is the purpose of the data collection? How this data was transferred. Okay, now we understand. Sometimes in the genomics, fungal genomics, it is seen that the file size is too much because it will be a sort of big data. So it is a sort of big data. So this file size, you need to understand that software might feel some problem to process it. So the file size and data type, it is imperative to understand. Then we will need to search for the structural error. We are going to discuss on this word. What does it mean by structural error? It is something as mislabeled data. It is something which is having wrong punctuation at wrong place. We are going to understand it by example. Then we need to explore for the data irregularities, and at last we need to deal with the missing values. So now we have three keywords: structural errors, data irregularities, and missing values. Okay. So before we see how we treat the structural errors, now it is the time to understand what they are actually. So suppose any observation or any information by the typographical error is typed 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, then it qualifies the definition of structural errors. Any faulty data type, it means your numerical data is categorized as character data, or your character data like male and female. Male and female is the example of name. Character data, if male and female is categorized as numeric data, then it may cause some problem during analysis. The mislabeled variable. Every software has its unique qualities which actually recognize some variables and do not recognize the variable which may start from mispunctuation like full stop, like comma, or alphanumeric number. And there is something known as string inconsistencies. String inconsistencies, what we had seen in the Excel. I would like to draw your attention to that KH column. What we had seen over there was lot of text conveying the similar message, but it was conveyed textually, differentially in different cell. So these all qualifies the definition of string inconsistencies. Now we see how we need to treat these string inconsistencies and how we will deal with it. Okay, so what we are doing here, again, the purpose is to have a feel, and once you make a cohesion, once you make a collaboration with your data analyst, it should be very much clear to you in principle what you are going to achieve. And the process must not be a mechanical process. So what we are doing here first we will clean the name of the labels, then we will remove completely empty columns if there are any, then we will remove duplicate rows, and we will see whether there are inconsistencies in the data conversion. So like we can see the name of the label here, there are not a there is not a standard format while naming a label. Like you can see here, for example, column number 11, that is ph dot space, then no. So there is an extra space here. Like we can see here, sample received. So there is no connection between sample and receive. So these might be considered as two variable by the software. Or here we can see the Grandstand oblique India Inc. report. So it needs to be standardized. So after the standardization, the labels will look like this. So now you can see every label which starts from a capital word, it is converted into a small letter, and there is a underscore between. There is an underscore between two letters. Here we can, so now there is a visible relationship here, and it was a mislabeled variable. Now this is a clean name or clean labeled variable. Likewise, you can see the Grandstand / India Inc. report. It is now converted into small gram underscore stand underscore India underscore Inc. underscore report. So now this is a standard formatting. Okay, so once we are okay with the name of the column, now this is the time to remove any duplicate entry which were entered erroneously. So every software has its own codes or on their own way. We will not go into the codes, just we want to find out. So by running these codes, we have achieved something like this. So it says that this entry A847, lab number A847 and lab number A47, this was entered twice. And these two entries was entered twice. So there are 4 rows which were entered twice. So there are 4 duplicate entry which needs to be removed. So by a process we have removed it. So after removal, if we can see that, and after removal we have given this name as given our data set name as df.r2. So before removal we can see the dimension of our data set. Dimension I mean our data was distributed into our data was having 862 observation distributed in 25 columns. Now after removal of duplicate entry, we have 855 observations in 25 column. So first we need to correct the column's name. Second, we need to remove the duplicate entry if they are any. Now another type is we need to think the type of variable, where our variable is a nominal variable, means name, means male, female, color of iris, or anemia present, absent, or it is a ordinal variable, mild, moderate, severe, or it is an interval variable like number, or it is a ratio variable, means the interval variable where absolute 0 is present. Accordingly, we need to convert our data type into those variables. Like we can say this sample received was actually the date of the sample receiving, and this data was stored as character variable while it should be stored as date variable. So what we have done it, we have first converted this character into numeric and numeric into date variable. So it is very important to store your data set according to the type of the variable they consist of. Okay, now this is a very important thing which we are going to discuss, the mislabeled variable. As I mentioned about the structural error, they are nothing but the typographical errors, incorrect capitalizations, or naming conventions. Naming conventions which are not according to the software environment. So they can lead to mislabeled categories or classes. This is, for example, if we say /n/a and not applicable, both seems to appear communicating the same message, but when we transfer this data into the software, it will be treated as difficult. It will be treated as different. So here there are some capital errors, misplaced punctuations, or similar character data errors. Let's understand it by the example. Okay, so let's move to the labels of the steroid, whether the steroid treatment was given or not given, or if it was given, it was a high dose steroid or low dose steroid. So now we can see there is a structural error. How this structural error arises? Because in the low dose category, L was typed in capital L and small l. So now, for the purpose of analysis, for the purpose of categorization, if we do not correct it, the steroid categories, the categorizations will be classified into 4 categories: high dose, L small low dose, L capital low dose, and not given, which does not make any sense. So we need to correct it. So we have corrected by something known as regular expression and pattern matching, which is beyond the scope of the talk today. But after correction, this is how our categories look like, which is purely very much sensible. Let's take the example of KH report, another variable. Here you can see the KH report is a classical example of character variable where lots of text is incorporated into the MS Excel. So, and even we can see that all these cells, like from cell number 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, they are communicating the same message, but as they are entered in the different manner, like BU, it is entered by the small letter, this is entered in the, just a moment. So it is entered in small letter, it is entered with the capital letters, and here we can see budding east cells. There, here it is written cells. Here Y is capital, here Y is small, here Y is capital, here Y is small. So all these will be considered as different categories during the time of analysis, and all these, this is known as what is known as inconsistency or anomaly. Let's explore it further. Okay, let's take the example of 43, fungal element seen. and 47 fungal elements seen. So now you are able to appreciate the difference. Here it is element start with capital, and here the element start with small letters, and this is not element, this is elements. So although these two observations are conveying the same message, but due to these string inconsistencies, they will be considered as different observation. So they need to be corrected before moving for the analysis. And at this point of time, there is something known as cardinality. Cardinality stands for when there are, in total we have at point of time, we have around 862 observations with us, and you can see the number of labels are 192. It means out of these 860, in these 862 observations, 192 type of labels are being stored. So this is known as an observation with multiple labels, and this variable is known as high cardinal variable. These type of high cardinal variables may create some problem during the time of analysis. So we need to see whether they are actually high cardinal variables or they are artificially induced high cardinal variable. Like we can see here in cell number 139, 140, 141. These are written in the different manner, so they are producing the different results. So now we are clear what the structural errors are. Now this is the time to understand the data irregularities. So data irregularities stands for any invalid values or the presence of outlier. Okay. Invalid values and outlier, they are seemingly similar word, but to detect the presence of outliers and to understand whether this is a true outlier or it is an extreme value, but biological, it is plausible. So to understand the difference is very important. Okay, now we will start from the invalid values. So let's start from the age. Age, after the correctly data conversion, the age is now classified into numeric variable because it consists of number. When it consists of number, it will be having the 5-number summary with us. So this is a 5-number summary including the missing observations. So now we don't have, when we look into these 5-number observations, the maximum value of age is stored somewhere in 200, which is biologically not possible, implausible, extreme. So what we need to do, so what we have commanded here, try to find out those rows which are having the age greater than 100 years or age less than 0 years, which is biologically not possible. In response to this, the software or analysis environment have identified three rows in which the age is stored as 200 year. This might be a typographical error. The age was the actual age maybe it may be 20, but an extra 0 was put, and 180 years and 101 years. So before moving further, we need to remove this. 101 again. Now it is a matter of debate whether you want to keep this 101 or not, because 101 is biologically plausible, although extreme value. But for the analysis purpose, we have removed it. So after removing, before we had the 858 observation distributed in 25 variable. So after removing the invalid values, now we have the 855 observations of 25 variables, and now we have a pretty much plausible distribution of age. Okay, now coming to a very interesting phenomena, outliers. So the most important challenge is to understand whether the outlier is actually an outlier or invalid value, or it is a biological placebo values which is extreme value. Okay, so accordingly, let's take an example of SSS. SSS, I have created it hypothetically. This is nothing but the symptom severity score, and the maximum score, let's assume the maximum score in the theory is 10. So once in order to detect the outliers, there are two approaches. Once we can detect it by the graphical or visualization methods, where we can create some histogram or box plot, or we can create a 5-number summary. So I have created a histogram here. In the symptom severity score, the maximum value in theory can be 10. But I am seeing here there is a value around 14. This propelled me to create a box plot for this. And when I create a box plot, I see a value which is more than 14, which is not possible because the highest score which one can achieve on the SSS is a hypothetical variable. I am reiterating again, but just for the sake of understanding, the maximum score is 10. So 14 is not possible. So it is clearly an outlier which must be removed. So we have removed it. Again, there is a value which is 10. 10 is an extreme value, because if we see the distribution, maximum distribution stops at 7, but few values are more than 8 and up to 10. But these are biological. Biologically, there is a possibility of having the value of 10. So I have removed 14, but I have not removed the 10. And now we can have the 5-number summary. 5-number summary says the maximum value is 10. Okay. So what we can do with the outliers, we can delete if it is a true outliers or invalid value. We can do nothing if it is a biologically placebo values, or we can replace it. Replace is something which is very interesting, which we are going to discuss in the next slide. So what is replacing? Replacing is sometimes known as Winsorizing. In Winsorizing, we replace the outlier, an extreme value like 10 in our symptom severity score, with the less extreme maximum value. This is done to understand that by first determining the distribution of the data. So here we can see this, the purpose of the code is just to show you what is happening inside and how the data cleaning process takes place. So you can see here the value, there is something known as, we want to keep the value from 5 percentile, in between 5 percentile to 95 percentile. So any value which is having the value more than 95 percentile should be reduced to 95 percentile, and any value which is having a value less than 0.5 percentile should move to 5 percentile. But mind you, the Winsorizing process is very tricky, and it must be fully documented, and it must be included in your report that in the process of data analysis, Winsorization was done. The purpose of the Winsorization to remove the influence of extreme value on the result. Like we have, once we, if we do Winsorize here on our extreme data set, so there was a value of 10. Now this value is reduced to 7. So this is something known as Winsorization. Previously it was 10, Now it is moved to 7. Again, a very important thing, and we often encounter in our data set, is missing value. Just to remove the rows blindly without finding the source or reason of missing value is not justifiable. Let's understand it by an example. So, in our data set, the same data set which I have shown you in the MS Excel, there are 2 columns. The first column is culture, which is a sort of character variable, whether the culture was done or not done. So culture was done or not done, simple, by nominal variable. And another variable, it is also a character variable, which is culture report. When the culture was done, what was isolated. So this is the culture report, which gives us information about the organism after the culture done. Okay, so if we have a quick summary of culture report, now you can see this is what is happening. And at last, we see the missing 668 missing values out of 855 observations. So whether all these values are actually missing values or there is something which is going behind the curtain which we need to find out. So our job is a little bit of like a medical detective at this point of time. So if we try to find out what is happening, so there is a simple logic. If there are 2 variables, the culture, so if there is the answer of the culture variable is yes, then only we can find the organism which is isolated from the culture report. If the response to culture is no, then there will be 0 probability or 0 possibility of finding any organism because culture was not done. So let's move to a quick summary of culture. Now we can see that the values stored in the culture, there are lots of mislabeled variable and there are lots of string inconsistency in the culture. Like NA is not applicable is here, that is written NA space BD, NA space DB, NABD, small n, small o, capital N, small o, capital N, capital O, yes is also written in the several manner. So we can see there is lots of mislabeling and string inconsistency in the culture, which we try to replace with, there is something known as regular expression. We will not go into the course, but we try to clear it. We try to find some regular pattern out of it. So as a result of these regular pattern, now we are able to see. So then we have cross-tabulated it. So now we can see that we have 3 options for the culture. Culture was done, no, yes, and the results were we don't know. And these are the characteristics of the culture reports. Now it seems little bit clear and little bit logical. And here we can see where the culture was out of these 668 observations that was previously labeled as missing observations. In the 246 observations, culture was actually not done. So these 668 are actually not missing. Out of these values, in the 246 value, the culture was not done. So there is no possibility and there is no probability of identify the organism when the culture was not done. Remaining values, there is a problem with these 129 values and 293 values. When the culture was in these 129 values, when the culture was not done, in these 129 values, where the culture was done, we don't know the values. So there is the issue of these 129 values. But, and where the culture status is unknown, whether the culture was, then also this result of the report is unknown. So initially what it was looking like, that we are having a missing value of 668, we are having a missing value of 129. This we have tried to shape it further, and this proves the points. So now we have cleaned our data. So what we have done in the process of cleaning, we just first look at the data. We try to understand the context of the data. Then we try to see when we clean the label of the data. Then we saw whether the data was stored in the corrected type of variables. If not, the variables were corrected. It was followed by looking for the structural errors, missing values, and outliers. So once we are clear and once we have cleaned our data, now this is the time for doing some initial exploratory data analysis. The purpose of the exploratory data analysis is not to present our analytics findings, but to understand what the data is trying to convey and whether this data is at par with our hypothesis, at par with the objectives for to which we actually collected the data. So we just want to have a quick analysis of our data and to understand what the data is communicating to us. So there are not a structural or what should I say, the watertight steps for the exploratory data analysis, but for the sake of understanding, we can divide it into 4 parts. The first principle remain the same, and I would like to reiterate it in the several times. You must be having the feel of your data before processing it for any analysis. You must be able to understand what each column is conveying. You must be able to understand what each row is conveying and how we should be moving. So step 1 is, first we are feeling the data. We understand what our data is, how it was collected, how it was transferred, whether it is sectional data or longitudinal data. So once we understand we understand our data, we can first analyze the categorical variables, then numerical variables. Then in order to understand the basic interaction or basic relationship between the variables, we can analyze numerical and categorical variable at the same time. So first, as I said earlier, I have taken a subset of the data from our parent data. I have only taken few columns for the sake of understanding. So as we can see, it is a data which is having 694 observations distributed in 12 columns, and these columns are now, we can see, this is a clean data set. So it is having something known as character variable, numeric variable. Lane number is a character variable because this every variable is showing the characteristics of the observation. Age, it is a numerical variable. Sex, it is a factor variable because it is having only two labels, females and males, and both of them are repeated. Word, again, it is a factor variable which are having the 36 label because we are receiving information from the 36 word. Sample received, it is a date variable. So like this, and we can see the status of our data. Status of our data, what do I mean? Don't retract from these words. Status of our data, whether we are having some values which are conveying the zero message, zero value, or infinity value. So we can see there is no zero and infinity values in our data set. So step 1. We are clear what our data is stored into the corrected data type. There is always a challenge with a variable of lots of zero or not applicable values, whether we should remove them blindly or but there is always a cost of removing. If we remove them blindly, that may cause the loss of valuable information. If we want to keep it, then how it should be analyzed. So variables with lots of zero and any values, like you can see here, we classified it the characteristics and the word from where the data was received. So here we can see there are lots of some zero values. But whether these values we should keep it or we should discard it, it is important. And any high cardinality variables like this number of word. So out of these that we have received the data from the 36 word. So there are 36 labels in this data set, which may cause some problem because you can see the number of observations like burn and plastic surgery is 6, endocrinology it is 1, emergency it is 0, OBG it is 2, oncosurgery it is 1, pulmonary ward it is 4, pulmonary ward is again. So whether we should remove it or we should discard it. If we discard it, whether we are not going to lose some information. So once we tabulize our categorical variable, there is something known as bar chart by which we can have the proportionate distributions of the label. Like in sex, we can say, okay, we have received the 61% samples from the 61% males compared to 38% females. Or maximum samples were received from the dermatology department, while some department contributed very less. So there is a skewed distribution. Likewise, if we select the step 2, if we move to the numerical variable. So for the categorical variable, we had histogram. For the numerical variable, for the categorical variable, we had the bar diagram. For the numerical variable, we have the histogram. So it will show us the distributions of our numerical data like age and symptom severity score. So for the symptom severity score, we can now see it has a bimodal distribution. The first peak is around 2.5 and second peak is around 7.5. And we can club it, we can see how our numerical data is behaving. Step 3 is to look for any unbalanced variable and we need to see the visually, we need to see the maybe by the box plot or maybe by some any other visualization method, whether there is the presence of any outlier. So we have described our data. Now our data set has 12 variables with 694 observations. Let's take an example of say for sex. So now we have 694 observation of sex in which the distinct values, distinct means there are two labels only. So distinct values are 2. So there are 270 females and 424 males in our data set, which has a proportion of 3.38% and 61%. For example, we can see in the ward, we have the observation of 694. There is no missing values. The distinct values are 33. It means we have received information from the 33 wards and there is no missing value. Like in culture, we can see there are 289 missing values, and culture there is a distinct value because we just want to understand whether the culture was done or not. So after removing, so we had the culture was not done in around 57.8% cases, and it was done in 42.2% cases. Likewise, we can have the quick exploration of what is happening here. So there are certain graphs as well which can help us to explore, which we have already mentioned, but I want to reiterate. There is something known as box plot. Box plot are the visual representation of five number summary plus a little bit information. Like we can see here, if we create a box plot of age with diabetes in order to understand whether there was whether there was an effect of steroid on the diabetes, then we can say here the distribution is almost similar. So they seem steroid therapy might not have been affected the status of diabetes in our case. This is something known as density plot. Density plot gives you the information of the data distribution in the non-parametric way. This is the density plot of SSS, symptom severity score. So here we can see the two peaks. So we can simply assume there is the distribution of symptom severity scores in our patient or in this data set is a bimodal distribution. This is an example of the bar plot, which tells us again the same information, that most of the patient had the symptom severity score around 3 followed by around 7. This is a correlational diagram which tells us whether there is any relationship between age and symptom severity score. Yes, there seems to be a little gradient in the age and symptom severity score. So this is this is how we actually perform some initial exploratory data analysis, just in order to understand what the data is communicating to us. The idea is not to analyze it thoroughly, but to analyze it quickly and to change the data presentation in order to the if our hypothesis is not being addressed, or do we need to collect some more data, or do we need to change in the format of collecting data, which this is all kind of decision which are taken from the exploratory data analysis. At the last, there is something known as tidy data. I will just moving very quick from this. So tidy data is nothing but every data set, like we have seen in this Excel. This is the classical example of messy data, where we had very much textual data. Information was conveyed in the different manner, and there was no standardized manner of adding to the labels, of adding to the name of the columns. Of course, it was a hypothetical data, but this is how the real life, we receive data in the real life. So what is the message for you or us as a team of microbiologists or data analysts or epidemiologists? Just try to add only numeric value as far as possible in each and every cell. If you need to collect, if you are compelled to enter a textual entry, then every variable should be entered in the column. Variable is the information like KOH culture, date of receiving, name, age, sex, steroid therapy. These all are variable which changes from person to person. So each variable should form a column, and each observations ID, like here, and each observation, suppose we say this 1, 2, 3, 4 are the name of the patient. So each observations forms a row, and each cell should be a single measurement. This is the classical characteristics of the tidy data, and all tidy data are alike. They are equal whatsoever. If we are collecting data on the fungal genomics, or we are collecting data on the routine monitoring data of fungal laboratories, all tidy data by the nature they are similar, where they are conveying every column is a variable and every row is an observation, while messy data can present themselves in the different way. Their columns are the values and their rows are variables. Their variables both can be distributed in the columns and rows, and sometimes we even don't know where we are entering and what we are entering. We must refrain from it. Thank you very much for listening me patiently. Thank you, ma'am. Over to Karuna, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And definitely this is very important, because we have in routine process, we do maintain Excels, but yes, they are not very clean. They are usually, they are not tidy and they are messy, because what we understand and what we write in reportings of the fungal identifications, it is usually written in such a way that many of the data entry operators don't understand it properly. So definitely this is the first step where we land up with, while analysis, it is filled up with a lot of difficulties in analysis. So this was very important for all of us, and this was the very basic Excel. There will be a lot of things which can be, with this basic understanding, it can be extrapolated or understood well to other very still more complicated Excel sheets. So thank you very much once again, sir, for sparing time and discussing with us with such a fundamental thing and very important thing, because without appropriate Excel level analysis is also lost, and many things are lost, in fact. Thanks again, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
And any questions? As of now, there are no questions. So this was a very basic Excel that I had given, sir. But in this one also, you had observed that there were spelling mistakes, there were repetitions, there were so many things that was happening. So ideally, if such a thing is happening, so to start with, we need to give any coding for what are we wanting to mention. That is what you want to say, or how to standardize that part.
Ma'am, first and foremost thing is, before collecting the data, I am again reiterating it. Before collecting the data, we should be very clear for what purpose we are collecting it.
Okay.
And our variables are nothing but the which is changing from person to person. The observations which is changing from person to person, like age, sex. So our variable should be driven by our hypothesis.
Okay.
What happened in the real practice? Our hypothesis is driven by the variable. While in idealistic scenario, or in a scenario which is very conducive, the hypothesis should drive us to select the variable. Once we are able to select the variable, then we should try to understand what kind of variable they are.
Yes.
Whether they are nominal variables, simply conveying information of names, or they are a variable which can be arranged into a rank, like severity of the disease,
Yes.
mild, moderate, severe, or they are the variable which are conveying a number, like pH values. If we understand what kind of variable they are, and accordingly we need to create a code for them. As far as possible, in the cells of the Excel, we should only enter the numbers, because any software will only recognize the number. Okay, but if we need to compel to add the text, then we must sure that the text is entered into a very standardized way. So suppose if we want to denote a negation with the no, so we should be very clear. It will be we will write no as small no, small n, or small no o, or we will write the no as the capital N or small no, or we will write the no as the capital N or capital no.
Yes.
So once we are clear with it, then probably it will be less time consuming, and messy data is the reality of world, man. So, and the most of the time of the analysis is dedicated to the data cleaning, which is pretty much good. But once we are able to do it, then probably we can be doing some quick analysis, which is exploratory data analysis, in order to understand what is moving inside. Once we are able to understand what the data is trying to communicate us, we can change our data formats, we can change our modality of data collection, and this can give us some promising results.
Thank you very much, sir.